This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. So, if you attended yesterday's session, great. If not, don't worry, you can catch up with the recording. But before we begin today's session, let me quickly recap what we covered yesterday. So, we started with an introduction to artificial intelligence, then explored the differences between AI, ML, deep learning, and generative AI using very simple examples. And then we also took a look behind the scenes of ChatGPT. Like we had an introduction to what is an LLM, and then we spoke about transformers a bit, and we also understood like ChatGPT is not just a random search engine like Google search. So, and then we discussed about prompt engineering, where giving good inputs is equal to good outputs. And then we spoke a bit about agentic AI, a growing trend in AI automation, where agent AI can automate tasks. Like, for example, they can book a travel package based on your preferences, compare prices, and even make reservations for flights and hotels, all without human intervention. So, we spoke about that, and then we outlined a step by step roadmap to mastering AI and went over the course structure, and I'll once again share the curriculum link uh, here in the chat now also. One second. So you can go through the curriculum, and yeah. So if you missed yesterday's session, I recommend watching the recording when you get a chance. So today, let's directly dive into Python programming basics. So a quick question for you all. How did you all join today's session? On a laptop or mobile? You can put it in the chat. Did you join through laptops or mobile? Okay, great. Laptop. So, okay, good. So I recommend joining through laptop for good experience, because you will be coding alongside me. So it's better if you join through a laptop. So let me also ask you about your experience with Python. If you are coding for the first time, please type 1 in the chat. If you already know Python, type 2. If you are new to programming, okay, good. Okay, new to Python, okay. So we have 1.5, okay, good. So, uh, okay, then we'll go with the speed of average 1.5 then. So this will like knowing this will help me adjust the pace so everyone can follow along. So even if you are familiar with Python, stay with me. We'll start with the basics, but gradually we'll move on to advanced topics. So it will be worth the wait. And we'll also be creating a WhatsApp group for doubt clearing and ongoing support after the demo sessions, so that like if you ever feel stuck or stuck, you can reach out through the WhatsApp. And yeah, and one more important thing before we start, learning AI or even Python programming or such any such courses, it's just isn't just about attending the classes. It's about the practice. So make sure you apply what you learn after the class. So do practice. So if you stay consistent for 4 to 5 months, you're going to see amazing results. So think of this as an investment in your future. So let's begin with today's topic, introduction to Python. And so before I share my screen, let me ask you, uh, obviously Python is one of the most popular programming languages today, especially for this data science field. But which one do you think is older, Java or Python? So I always ask this question. I get mixed answers. So let's see this batch. Which one do you think is older? No Googling, so just type it. Okay, Abhishek thinks it's Java. Any other answers? Java or Python? Mm-hmm. So the correct answer is Python actually, because yeah, Python is older, released in 1991, while Java came out in 1995. Actually, Python was originally created by Guido van Rossum in the late 1980s and officially released in 1991. But yeah, as Harsha said, it's correct. Python has been around for a long time. It didn't become super popular right away. It really took off in the early 2010s when this fields of data science and machine learning started booming. Since then, it's become the go-to language for artificial intelligence, even for automation, web development, for game developments, even for data analytics. Yeah, because of its beginner-friendly programming language. It's a very beginner-friendly programming languages. So now, where can we actually write and run Python code? Let's talk about it. So now we are going to do the coding in Python programming language. But where can we actually write and run programming codes? Any idea? Correct. So, have any of you used an IDE, integrated development environment before? Python IDE, correct. So there are several options like Jupyter Notebook, PyCharm, Spider, but today we'll be using Google Colab. So Google Colab is a cloud-based tool from Google that lets us write and run Python code without installing anything onto your systems. Since it runs on online servers, we don't have to worry about system compatibility or performance issues. Like all we need is a Gmail account and an internet connection. So I'll be sharing a link to our class notebook shortly. And I won't be giving you the edit access to my version, but I'll guide you how to make a copy of it. And I'll even explain why I'm not giving the edit option. So first, let me share the collab link with you, which I want you all also to open on your laptops. Just click on the link. You will be opening a Google Colab of lesson 1. Let me share my screen. So give a thumbs up in the chat if you are able to open this link. I've shared the link in the chat. Okay, yeah, this happens, like this notebook loading error is a common error. Uh, Try in incognito mode or with a different Gmail ID. These two things, like when you try in incognito mode, it works, or sometimes clearing your cache or history for the first time, it will work. But only internet and Gmail ID, only these two are required for opening a Google Colab. So try reloading or try it in a different window. Just do the trial and error. It would work. Is anybody open to? Is someone else have the same issue of notebook loading error, or are you able to open it? So when I click on share, so I just gave you the viewing access, because if I give the editor access, so multiple people can work together on the Google Colab. So whatever codes you are updating and I'm updating, everything gets updated in the class copy. That's the reason I have given only the viewing access, so that you can create a copy of it and work alongside with me in the class. So okay, Abhishek able to open, correct, good. So let me show you how to create a copy of it. You see the file on the left side, right? So go to the file, uh, click on save a copy in Drive. So it will create a copy on your Drive, like Google Drive, with whatsoever Gmail ID you have opened. So you'll be able to code in it, and like whatever codes I update in this collab throughout the class, it gets updated here. So after the class also you can make a copy if you want the codes, or if you just want to practice with the recording, you don't have to make a copy again. So like this, like each lesson we are going to have it in the Google Colab, where you have the theory and the code cells present. So it's all organized, so you can directly you can completely concentrate on coding in the class. So with machine learning algorithms also, like we have everything presented in Google Colabs. So you really don't have to worry about taking the notes and all. So you can give your 100% attention to the class. Okay, you want me to share the link again? Just a second. Yeah. Okay. So let's start with programming. Are you all ready? Okay, great. So we saw this roadmap yesterday, so let's have a quick recap. Look, we are going to start with programming language Python, the basics, and then we'll cover the important libraries like NumPy, Pandas, and the data structures like list, tuple, so on. And then we'll cover mathematics, statistics, and probability required. After that, we are going to go for exploratory data analysis, but we are not going to do it like a theory based, but we are going to take the actual data sets and we'll work on it for doing the activities. So, and then yeah, data visualization using tools like Seaborn, Matplotlib, Plotly for visualization. Then we go for machine learning algorithms and deep learning. So we are going to cover prompt engineering too. And in the end, we are going to have an introduction to Gen AI concepts. We are not going to deeper into this Gen AI concepts because it's going to take again like 2 3 months more. So we are going to cover till 7 modules. But yeah, we'll talk about advancements in Gen AI, how to proceed next and all as a yeah eighth module here. So coming to Introduction to Python, it's a high-level interpreted interactive programming language, which is having a beginner-friendly interface, and it is known for its readability and simplicity. So it's called high level because it's closer to human language, making it easier to write, and it's interpreted because we don't need a compiler to compile the code. So Python runs the code line by line, which helps with testing and debugging. So yeah. So if someone asks you what is Python, it's a high level interpreted and interactive programming language. So we'll start with the basic Python operators. So what is an operator? So throughout the class, like if you are interested, you can unmute and answer the questions too. You can either use the chat because sometimes I cannot see the chat window. But if you have any questions or you want to speak in the class, you can unmute and you actually ask the questions or answer the questions. So operators in Python are special symbols that perform operations on variables and values. So soon we are going to see what are variables. So let's explore the different types of operators with simple examples. We are starting the basic arithmetic operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication, so on. So here in Google Colab, so we can do both coding and texting if you are doing it for the first time. So you see the plus code and plus text on the top, right? If you click on plus code, you are going to have a code cell with the run option on the left side. If you click on the text, you will get the text cell where we can actually uh, write the text like this. So that's the reason it's fantastic, so that we can have theory and coding both on Google Colab. So here we can do the coding part, and we can do the simple addition like we do it in the calculator. So if I just write 8 plus 6, 14, so it's going to connect to the Google's CPUs and GPUs. So we don't need like without good operating systems and our personal laptops, it would still work fine because of online connection. So yeah, and like the same code, if you know any other programming languages, we know that, like, to get this same output, like 8 plus 6 equal to 14, the simple addition, we need to write 4 to 5 lines of code. In Python, it's very simple, like it's a straightforward, like how we give input for a calculator, we just have to write 8 plus 6 here. So what is this text which is in green color? Any idea? What is it? If I just run it.
Comments.
Comments, correct. Yeah, it's like when you have code, when you put in this hash symbol before it, they become comments. It's not code anymore. So we can do the subtraction with minus operator and multiplication. All these are very basic, like we are just doing as if we are doing it in the calculator. So, and then the division. So here, if you observe, when we use the division operator, the output is 2.0, which is a decimal number. And if you see, when I've done the multiplication, I got a integer, like I just got like 16 as the output, not 16.0. I can check the data type of a output using a function called type. So we are going to see what are functions in deep soon, and what are data types in today's class itself. Don't worry if any new term comes in. If you hear any new terms, don't worry, we are going to discuss everything in deep. So if I just write type of 16, if I just run it, you see like it's an integer. And if I just check the type of division operator, it's a float. And we have modulus operator. So it says like it returns a reminder of a division, right? So let me just, what would be the output now? 8 modulus of 2. What's the reminder now? 8 modulus of 2. What do you think would be the output?
0.
Correct, 0. So it's going to return the reminder of a division when you use the modulus symbol, and exponentiate. We are going to get the exponents using double asterisk, and then the float division. What do you think float division does? Okay, we have the explanation here. Let's see. Yeah. So if we do the float division, we'd have to give two slashes, like it divides one number by another and rounds down to the nearest integer. So what do you think would be the output now? 5 float division 2 divides one number by another and rounds down to the nearest integer. What would be the output?
2.
Sure. Okay. Then yeah. So if you use the float division, you're going to get the uh, nearest integer. Let's check the data type of it using the type function. If it's an integer or float, yeah, it's an integer because it's rounding down to the nearest integer. So if I just write some text and run it, what would be the output?
Type error or something?
It's an error, correct? Because
Or name error.
here, yeah, for Python or any other programming languages, we have some rules to follow, like we call it like syntax. So for numbers, it did work, like if I just type in like 4 exponent of 2, like it did work. But for the text, like when I just type the text and run it, we got the error. So for text, we have to include that into double quotations or single quotation. Only then you are going to see the output. So we have some rules to be followed. We call it syntax. So we are going to learn the syntax of Python programming, and we have a different terminology too, like numbers, like we call it like integers, decimal point, we call it float. Now text is called as strings. So as if we are learning any foreign language, we have completely different terms. So this is the language we are speaking to the computer. So we have different terminology here. So we are going to call text as strings, and whenever we are representing strings in Python, we have to write them either in single quotation or double quotation. Only then it would work. So let's see an activity with working with strings. So here we have only two activities, but in actual, like soon after 10-15 classes, we are going to have like string operations. Like we are going to consider string as a data structure. But now don't worry if you don't know what is data structure. So we are going to have like around four to five classes alone on strings, like how strings behave. So if I want to concatenate strings. Any idea what is concatenation? What is concatenation?
Combining two values.
Combining two values. Like, is this concatenation?
Yeah.
Hmm. So if I just type like 5 plus 6, it's 11, right? What if I write, what would be the output now?
I think
Okay,
it's still a name error.
it would be the error if I just skip the
Yeah.
quotations and use the operator. Yeah, what would be
Tree
the output?
plants. Yeah.
Three
Trees.
plants.
Yeah.
So tree plants. So the same operator, when we give two numbers, it's doing the addition, and when we give two text, like two words, we got the concatenation. They have joined together like tree plants. So what if I write 5 plus 3? What would be the output now?
5 tree.
5 tree, sure. I'm just running it. So you can,
Yeah.
the error says
Type error.
unsupported. Yeah, you can either use integer plus integer or string plus string. Only then it will either concatenate or do the addition. But if you have an integer plus a string, you're going to get an error. Either you
Yeah.
have to, yeah, you can convert this 5 to a string by just using this function string, and just write 3, so it would work. Or you can either enclose 5 in quotations. That will also, uh, this will also work. So if I just check the type of, sorry, what would be the output now? What is the type of 5
String.
here?
String.
String.
String
Yeah.
or integer?
String.
String.
String, right? Yeah, anything is enclosed, like whatever like text or number, if we enclose that in quotation, it becomes a string for the Python. So it doesn't matter if number is inside it. Yeah. So, okay. And if I just write 5 into 3, what would be the output now?
I think it's an error.
Error? Okay.
I think you can't.
555.
Five
Five.
five five.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're just asking
Yeah.
us to.
So
All
with,
right.
yeah, with addition actually, like you cannot add like integer and string, but with multiplication, yeah, you are going to get the repetition of it. So, and yeah, any questions still here?
So Meenakshi, if I delete something, so how to get that back? For example, you
Uh,
write code, and if I go to the right, we have this delete option, right?
Yeah, if you delete that, like to undo cell deletion, Control plus MZ. You are going to get it in the notes, right? If it's a Mac, you are going to if you just point on the yeah. So Control
Right.
plus MD. So you can try like
For example, you segregated like addition, subtraction. So if I delete that addition one, I don't know what is that row. Again, I cannot see, right?
this one.
Yeah. So if I
So
remove,
if you just delete it, you are going to get the note below. Like it says to
yeah.
undo cell deletion, use Command plus MZ or the undo option in the edit menu. So
Okay.
here from the edit menu, you can actually undo the delete cell. Yeah.
Okay.
So this way you can get it back. Okay. Are we going slow? Should we increase the pace or this is okay? You can put it in the chat or you can. Should we increase the speed of the activities or this is okay? Okay. Let's continue then. So
You're
mixing
ask,
types. Yeah.
you're asking us, Meenakshi?
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine for me. Yeah. Thank you. So we have just done this mixing of data types. So we just saw like adding 5 plus. So we just did this activity and we got the error, then we just converted. Are you coding along with me? Are you able to do it from your end? The same on the collab notebook, which you have just created the copy of it. Are you able to do the activities on it?
Some of them.
Okay. Okay. No issues. Like do try. So next, we are going to talk about variables and data types. So anybody, what is a variable? What is your definition of a variable?
A container or placeholder.
Okay,
Name,
yeah, it's like a
name,
container where you can uh, save a value inside it, right? So variable is like a container which stores some data. So this is an easy way to remember the variable. So it's like a container where you can put in some value inside it. And whenever you create a variable, it's going to create an ID for it. Some uh, like number would be given as a ID for it, long number. So we cannot remember this IDs to reuse the variables. So we usually name the variables. So naming the variables is called as Python identifiers. Not only naming the variables, naming the modules, classes, functions. So we call it like Python identifiers. So we'll see what is a module and so on. Like for now, we'll talk about variables. So when you are naming the variables, we have some rules. So as if like we are naming the humans, we have some rules. We don't name them as chair, table. So we have two rules while naming it. The same way the name terms for naming the variables are, it can start from it can have capital letters and small letters and underscore symbol, but no special characters are allowed in the names of the variables. And it cannot contain spaces and it cannot be Python keywords like the keywords like print or any other function names like type is a function name. So you cannot have those as Python keywords as names for the variables, and it's case sensitive. And Darabot practice name a variable in such a way that it reflects the nature of the value stored in it. So we just saw the data type using the type function, right? We had integer, floating point number is nothing but the decimal form. Strings are the text enclosed between singular and quotation. So you have true and false. Python doesn't know no and yes, but it knows true and false. It's called Boolean data type, and we'll see the rules also soon. So when you write the Boolean, like for example, if I just write true and check the type of it, what would be the output?
string.
string, right? Because I've enclosed it in quotations. But if I just
Yes.
check the type of capital T, like if I just use small true and run it, it would be an error. Yeah, because true is a text without quotations here, but if you just make it capital T, it becomes Boolean. So true and false are Boolean data type. So T and F in true and false must be capital because Python is case sensitive and a variable can store only one value at a time. So we have already created few variables here, like creating a simple variable is easy, like a equal to 6 is a variable where we'll be creating like you are going to store a value 6 in Python's memory and naming it as a, and there will be some identity id created for it. So like likewise, like I always take this example, like when we do this addition using our brains, like if I ask you what is 10 plus 2, so you do remember 10 plus 2 in your minds and you say it's 12. If I just ask what is the first number, second number, you're able to answer it, right? So likewise, Python, to remember the values in the backend, we create variables. So a equal to 6, a variable is created. So we don't see the output now. It's just like in the backend, a variable is created where the value is stored as 6. So if there is one more variable a equal to 10, if I just now using, yeah, if I just want to print this a, what would be the output? I've created a variable a equal to 6. I created a variable a equal to 10. If I want to just print a, what do you think would be the output now? So, yeah, 10.
And
Yep.
Yeah, 10. Yeah, actually, like when you have created a equal to 6, a memory location is created. And when we are updating it, like when we use the same variable name a equal to 10, so this 6 will be updated to 10. So we got 10 here. So if you if you want to check the ID of it, you can use the ID function. So 10751144, some random ID is created. So what if I create b equal to 10? So if I check ID of b, so if you observe ID of 8 where a equal to 10, b equal to 10, memory location ID of b is same. So in the backend, so memory management was happening here. So when you have same values with different name, so there is some ID, this ID was here, right? So the other variable with the same value get assigned to the same container here. Any questions here with this example of memory management of Python? So if you see a equal to 10, b equal to 10, when you check the ID, it's going to have the same ID. So you can create a
can,
variable name with, yeah,
can you say b is equal to a minus 1? I'm going to say you run b is equal to a minus 1 and then ID of b.
b equal to a minus 1.
And
And
then
if you want to check ID of b, you have a different, because now you have a different value inside the b, so you have a different memory location. But if you just create again c equal to 10 and check ID of c, it would be same as a. So it would be same of a. So the same values, you're going to get the same memory location. So this memory management of Python, it would save so much of space in the backend. So yeah, and you can have capital letters as variables. You can have a mixture of numbers and text, alphabets and numbers. You can mix as a variable names. You can have small letters. You can have underscore symbol. and you can have all capital letters. But yeah, if you just start with numbers like this, it's a invalid variable name. Or if you give space in between and run it, it's invalid, like it's not valid again. But you, instead of spacing, you can always have this underscore here. So, and if you give any special character like this, okay, hash, it worked, okay, invalid syntax. So we have put in not valid variable names here. So you cannot have space, special characters, or keywords which are already used by Python. So you don't have to remember all the keywords. You can just get all the keywords directly by using the help here, and using the help function you can directly get all the keywords. So you cannot have all this as variable names. So you can go through this. So yeah, any questions here? And before, like when we have done this ABC equal to hash and something, it did work. Okay, sorry, ABC hash. Can you explain why? What happened here when I gave hash here? I cannot have any special character as a variable name, but once I put in hash here at the end, what happened here? Because if you just,
Maybe the hash number of hash.
so what is happening with the hash is that we already discussed that this green statements, like when you have hash before any code or text, they are not code or text anymore for Python, it's a comment, right? So when I put in this hash, all this has become comment, and ABC is a variable, and we already created ABC variable with 453 value inside it. So that's the reason you see this 453 value here. So it has become comment here. So if I just, yeah, like anywhere you give this hash, like it's going to be a comment. So that's the reason it's working. Any confusion here? Is it clear what is happening here? Because of hash, this has become as comment. So you can give any comment, right? So this is a variable name. So we already stored 453 here. That's the reason you see the value of this variable 453. Okay, we'll quickly do the simple activity of creating 4 different variables and store the name, age, gender. So till now you would have observed some patterns here, like when I'm giving a variable name and wrote a number after it, like if I want to store a number inside a variable, I'm not giving any quotations here, right? I just wrote numbers here. So when you create a variable to store name, so I just have to give quotations for it. So if I just want to store any number, I just have to, I don't have to give any quotations for it. So left side is the variable name, right side I'm storing the value inside it. So it's better always create the variables to understand what value we are storing inside it. I want to store the age, so I just created the variable name as age here. So we can create a floating point number. So for example, the time right now is 9:14. So for numbers, integers and decimal numbers, we don't need the quotations. But for the Boolean, if I want to get the gender of Kiran, so true for female, false for male. So should I give quotations for false?
No.
No, right? Okay. So I just have F capital. So false. So if I run this activity, what would be the output? If I just run this activity where all these green lines are the comments, so just to guide us like what should be written as in what has to be done in the activity we have put in. But if I just run this,
It will just create these variables and the values assigned to those.
correct, very good, Abhishek. So it just creates a variables, but you don't see the output, right? To see the output, we have to use the print function. So to print something, we need to use the print function. So we are not going deeper into functions right now, but to say like you can understand function is like a machine where you give the input and it will give some output according to that machine's work. Like here print functions task is to print something. So any input you give it to the print function, it will print for us. So if I just want to print Python, it would print for us. But with the Google Colab, till now also we are printing something here, but I never use the print function, right? So if I just want to print one value without print function also, Colab will show us the output. But if you have multiple values to be printed, like a equal to 5, b equal to 10, and if you want to print, uh, if you just write a and okay, sorry, a, and you will get it. But if you just want to print b also, then you will just see the output of b but not the a. So we have to use the print statement. Only the last line without print statement it would work in the collab. Yeah, so just to see the values of the last one, we just for shortcut, like as if a shortcut, we don't put it the print function. So now to get the values of all the variables which we have created here, I should use the print function. So now I'm printing the variables here. Should I give quotations for these variables or should I write directly the names of the variable? Should I give quotations for printing the
No,
values?
No.
directly we should only it will print the value.
Correct. So if I give quotations, it becomes string again, and you will get the text name, age, time, and gender. But if you want to see the values of a variable, you don't have to give the quotations. So you got the values now, right? So this is how a basic print function works. So you can try these activities by printing different messages. Yeah, this is interesting here. So what would be the output now? You have a mix of quotations and yeah, so you have double quotations and single quotations here. If I just print it, what do you think would be the output?
The complete after inside the double quote, whatever is there, everything gets printed.
Inside the double quote, yeah, correct. So you have mix of strings. We have to take care what we are printing because with quotations we usually get errors if you mix it like this. Since it started with double and ended with double, and we had single quotation in between, it did work. If you have three single quotations, what do you think would be the output now?
I think it gives exception error.
Error, right? Yeah. So unterminated string literal. So it started here, the string ended here, but for this text, it's saying like the quotation is missing. So and if you have a single quotation here and double quotations here, and again single quotation here, what do you think would be the output? So
Everything inside the text, inside the quotation.
inside the quotations, like you say, like you're going to get Nagpur and orange with quotations or without quotations.
With quotation.
Correct. So we have to take care when we are mixing up the single quotations and double quotations. So one more way of avoiding this errors is this using this new line character. So the new line character /n is used to insert a new line in the not this new line, this is the other activity. So you have to use this backslash symbol before the quotation to avoid any character. Like if you want to avoid this quotation, you just give backslash before it so that you don't get error. So here to correct this, you just give the backslash symbol. Now this particular quotation, Python will ignore this particular quotation when you give this backslash symbol here. So this is one way, and yeah, so this we are going to see soon, like in this activity, let's say it. So here also we have the print statements, right? What do you think would be the output now? Print cdocs/n Naveen. So I just said, like, when you use backslash, it will avoid a character which is before after it. So now when I have this particular print statement, what do you think would be the output?
cdocs and next line Naveen.
Next line, because this /n is a new line character actually. So if I just run it, you're going to get it in the next line. Now to avoid this slash again, you have to use one more slash to say, like, just to avoid this backslash, not to get this output. So now it works, like cdocs Naveen. So you have put in one more slash here. So, and like you can either use this R before quotations just to print the raw string. So this also works. So if you have a bigger string to be printed, so sometimes it's not possible to go through the whole text and keep inserting this, so you can directly put R before it to print whatever raw string we have inside the quotations. So you can practice these things, like, the simple print statement, but you can use this new line characters and with quotations, play around to get more clarity on it by taking your own different examples. So we just saw the print function, right? The task of the print function is to print whatever input we give for that particular print statement. Then we have the input function. So before we go for input function, any questions around this topic, whichever we have covered till now? Any questions? Yeah. Okay. So let's see the input function. So to take input from a user in Python, you can use another function called input function. So like for Gmail, we give the username, and then we give the password. It gives us the boxes to enter, right? The same way, like we can take the input from the user using this particular input function. So let's create a simple variable, like let's take a different variable, t equal to, if I just write input function without any input to it, yeah, if I just write something like this. So I've created a function input. I'm taking input and storing it in the variable t and printing the t here. So now it's asking me to enter some input. So if I just type something and enter, you see that particular input is printed here. So if you want to have a message here, like please enter your name. So then you're going to see this message before the input box. Now you can enter the name and this press enter. So we have created a value, Kiran. If I just print t, what would be the output? What would be the output now if I just print t?
Kiran.
Kiran, right? Correct. So I've taken an input from the user but saved it in the variable t. So if I just run this, so the value would be Kiran here, right? So one more important note about input function is the input function takes input in the form of string. So for example, here I've just given Kiran as the text. If you check the type of it, it would be string. But if I give input function enter a number, if I just print this, I'm entering some number. Technically, yeah. So you have entered the number directly. You can see the output. It's written inside the quotations. If you check the type of y, it's a string. So you have entered a number, but the type of this particular input is again become a string. So this input function, like with practice, once we enter to advanced curriculum of Python or machine learning, sometimes we forget this in basics, like the input function takes input in the form of string. Somewhere in the bigger programming you use this input function and you forgot like it takes the input in the form of string. And if you are doing some arithmetic operation based on the input, it will throw error, because we just saw, like string and numbers we cannot add, it will throw error, right? So you cannot add integer and string, it will throw error. So whatever numbers also you are giving here, it become a string, and you want to do some arithmetic operation, addition and subtraction later based on the input given, it will throw error. So we have to take care of this. And sometimes this simple questions will be asked in interviews. You don't expect such questions, but suddenly they'll ask, like talk about input function. uh, the small notes are very important. So yeah, so if you are giving any input as a number, we have to do the data type conversion before doing any arithmetic operation on it. We just saw like how to do the data type conversion just before, like either you can put in the function int before it, or let's do one activity quickly. So for example, you have, okay, it's my favorite variable name equal to, I keep on giving the same variable names. So if I just want to use the input function, we'll do this activity and stop it. Input equal to enter a number. So it's a string, but if I just want to convert that to an integer, either I can convert it here itself by writing int before the whole input function, or you can convert it after the input also, like you can convert at this stage also. So anyway, like whichever method you are comfortable with. So like you can even convert like this. Let me just put it in the next activity. So depending on the usage, you can convert at whatever stage you want. So you can see the data type of a value using the type function. So the int denotes the integer value. We have used int here. Str is a string. If you want to convert that to a float, you have to use float function. If you want to convert something to boolean, then bool function. So you can take this activity as a small homework. Like you can create a program that asks for the user's birth year and calculates their age. So you have to give birth year as input, and then in the end you have to calculate their age, and you have to print, like the name and age. So you can take this activity as homework and try from your end. Use the input and print function mix and try to do this activity. So We'll stop it here for today. Tomorrow we'll talk a little more about print function, and we'll do more activities tomorrow, where we are going to start with conditional statements, break keyword, and while loops and infinite while loops. So tomorrow we'll start with while loops, infinite while loops, conditional statements, which are very important programming concepts. So once you learn any concepts of programming language, you will apply the same concepts with a different programming language also. It's the same loops, conditional statements, only that the syntax and the some rules changes, that's it. But the core concepts would be same for all the programming languages. So today we are going to stop it here. Any questions?
Oh, thanks, Meenakshi.
Yeah, thank you. So
Thank
it's
you.
the same every day, like you'll be getting the collab link, you'll make a copy and we'll do work on it. So after the class also, you'll be having the collab in your Google Drive. You can open it for practice. So once we complete like 80, 90 classes, 100 classes, it's all sorted for you. You have all the class lessons at one place. You don't have to juggle here and there. All the data set link and everything will be in the collab as a text, codes, activities. So you can refer to it. So it's easy for learning using this collabs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you tomorrow
So,
night.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Have a good
Yeah.
so
night.
Meena, how long is this course? It's like 3 to 4 months.
Around 4 to 5 months, because we have to cover deep learning. Yeah, it takes more than that, but not less than that.
Okay, 4 months. Okay, Meena.
So I guess we probably be done with this around August timeframe.
Yeah, more than 5 months, but not less than that, because
I
we
see.
have to cover a lot of theories, lot of concepts.
Gotcha.
So the code, yeah,
When you start sharing or teaching us about all these different algorithms or models, right?
yeah,
Would you be able to do hands-on with you and
hands-on, the same lab,
yeah,
the way you saw
exercises and
just
all
saw,
that?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
you
all
just
right.
saw the Python programming today, right? Same way we'll be having the activities, the text explanation of the everything in the
I
Google
see.
Colab. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Meenakshi. Have a good
Yeah,
night.
If you, good night, take care, bye
All
bye.
right. Bye.
See you
Bye.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
thank you.